Some most enduring of Hurricane Idalia will be mobile and manufactured homes battered by trees and flooded in aftermath storm. This sight has become all too familiar on U.S. coast as Florida's communities rebuild. Government leaders everywhere need to take steps to protect an important source of affordable housing in the age of climate change. According to American Housing Survey data, homes built nationwide account for about 5 of occupied residences, and about 7 in Florida. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway is in the business of building these parks, and investors of all sizes have purchased parks in recent years. All in all, they provide an accessible life in Sun Belt region, where house prices have skyrocketed since the beginning of epidemic. Despite all the threats posed by climate change, restricting the housing produced is not an efficient or ethical solution. Instead, legislators need to improve the planning and control of manufactured home parks and the investors who control them. The perception that manufactured housing is inherently more vulnerable to storms, provided the homes comply with federal laws in effect since 1994, is largely an overgeneralization. Manufactured homes are no more susceptible to water damage than homes built on site and may be more vulnerable to wind damage. Mitigated using best practices for bindings. Research by Kevin Grosskopf, then at University Florida, examined the performance 30,000 manufactured homes that were directly affected by peak hurricane season 2004 and found that 14 homes built before 1994 were destroyed. However, none of the houses after 1994 were that damaged. The problem is that manufactured housing, thanks NIMBYist municipal laws, tends to move away from traditional residential areas in some of the country's most vulnerable areas. Unincorporated county lands that often lack access to substantial infrastructure. In a Texas-focused study, a group of Texas A&M University of Colorado Denver academics found that local governments, among other devices, used single-family zoning and density rules to essentially separate manufactured residential communities, affecting access to both infrastructure, social services, and exposure to hazards. Part this is due to long-standing planning bias against manufactured housing, said Esther Sullivan, one author's study and author. Manufactured Insecurity, Mobile Home Parks and Americans' Right to Secured Housing. Careful and fair community planning is a crucial component for mitigating worst-case outcomes, such as improving data collection and strong communication before the storm. Authorities across the country should do a better job of documenting the footprints of manufactured home communities to understand which ones are most at risk and how they can best communicate with them on disaster preparedness. Undoubtedly, there will be some communities with old manufactured homes that could be candidates for full-scale managed retreats programs where government